Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? Today we're going to be focusing on, well, something a little different.
Different. How so?
Well, usually we have, a whole stack of books and articles, different perspectives on a topic. But this time, it's just one little piece.
Oh, intrigue me. What's this single source that's got you so hooked?
It's all about something called the Prayer of Jabez. Seems like it was maybe part of an online article, maybe a devotional. Not entirely sure, but it really caught my eye.
A single prayer, huh? Sounds pretty focused.
You'd think it wouldn't be enough for a whole deep dive, right? But trust me, this thing is packed with, layers of meaning. It's a short prayer, tucked away in First Chronicles, but people have been finding inspiration in it for centuries.
The First Chronicles, Old Testament stuff. Okay, I'm starting to get the picture. So what's the plan? Are we going verse by verse?
You know me better than that. We're going to break it down piece by piece.
What?
What does each part mean? Why does it matter? What can we learn from this Jabez guy and his, pretty bold request?
Sounds like a plan. Let's get into it.
All right, so the prayer starts with, "Oh, that you would bless me indeed."
Yeah.
Even the language there, it's strong, right? It's not just bless me. It's like he's really yearning for something big.
Yeah, there's a real intensity to it. And you have to remember, in the Old Testament, blessings, those weren't just about luck or good fortune. They were tied to this whole covenant between God and his people.
Right, like a promise or a deal.
Exactly. Think about the big names. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. Their blessings were about family lines continuing, inheriting land, having a special relationship with God. So Jabez, maybe he's feeling kind of overlooked, He's crying out for that deep connection, the abundant life that comes with being blessed.
Makes you wonder what his story is, what led him to this prayer.
Definitely. It's a little glimpse into, maybe someone who felt like they were on the outskirts.
Okay, so next part, this is where it gets really interesting. Enlarge my territory. Now, the source mentioned that this could be symbolic, but I gotta ask, how have people interpreted this part throughout history? I mean, enlarge my territory, that sounds pretty ambitious.
Well, you've got some scholars who tie territory directly to the Promised Land, the Israelites' whole journey of conquest. So for Jabez, it could be very literal. Give me more land, more security, more resources, basic human desires, right?
Makes sense. Safety, stability, the things we all crave.
But then, like you said, there's that symbolic layer. Early church fathers, they saw this as being about spiritual growth, expanding your territory of faith, of virtue.
Okay, I see that. Pushing
Yes.
your boundaries, not just physically, but in your heart and mind, too.
Exactly. And then fast forward to more modern interpretations, and it often becomes about personal development, stepping out of your comfort zone, taking on new challenges, expanding your skills, your knowledge.
Wait, so enlarging your territory could mean learning a new language
Mm-hmm.
or starting a business.
Absolutely. Anything that involves pushing past your perceived limits, really stepping into your potential. What do you think enlarge my territory could mean in your own life?
I never thought about it like that. It's a good question to ponder. But hold on, going back to those older interpretations, couldn't enlarge my territory also have a negative side? Couldn't it be about dominance, even aggression?
That's a sharp observation. And you're right, it definitely raises some flags. It challenges us to really think about our own desires for enlargement. Are we trying to dominate others? Or to contribute something positive, to control or to collaborate?
Yeah, those are important questions.
Yeah.
But I feel like Jabez was onto something with that next part of his prayer, where he asks for God's hand to be with him. It's like he knows he needs help, guidance on this journey.
Oh, absolutely. That phrase, the hand of God, that's huge in biblical imagery. It represents power, guidance, protection, all rolled into one.
Powerful stuff. Can you give us an example?
Sure, think about the Exodus story. God's hand parts the Red Sea, leading his people to freedom. Talk about a powerful hand. So Jabez asking for God's hand to be with him, that could be him saying, hey, I need direction here. I need strength to overcome obstacles. I need assurance that I'm not in this alone.
Wow. When you put it that way, it takes on a whole new dimension. He's not just going after bigger and better things blindly. He's asking for guidance and protection along the way.
Exactly. And that leads us to the next part, keep me from evil, which, let's be honest, some days feels like the most important request of all.
Ain't that the truth? But what are we talking about here? Personal temptation or something bigger?
That's a question that's kept theologians and philosophers busy for centuries. In the Old Testament, evil had both individual or collective aspects. It could be personal sin, sure, but it could also be about injustice in society, or the forces that oppose God's will, like we see in those stories about prophets battling false gods.
So Jabez might be asking for protection from making bad choices, but also from harmful influences around him, even from systems that oppress or exploit people.
You got it. It really invites us to reflect. What does evil look like in our own lives? What are the things we need to be protected from? What are the evils we might even be contributing to without realizing it?
Heavy stuff. But before we get too weighed down, let's move on to that last part of the prayer, which really struck me. After all those requests for blessings and expansion, he says, that I may not cause pain.
Mm.
That's pretty
Right.
profound.
It's like this moment of self-awareness. He's recognizing that his actions have consequences. His desire for all these good things, for enlargement, it shouldn't come at the expense of others.
It's checking himself, making sure his ambition isn't going to hurt anyone else in the process.
Exactly. It's like he's saying, God, help me to grow and prosper in a way that doesn't leave a trail of pain behind me. Shows a real depth of character, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's a reminder that true success isn't just about what we achieve, but how we achieve it.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So big picture time, what does all this mean for us today? I mean, this is an ancient prayer, but it feels strangely relevant, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Any key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, for starters, it reminds us that it's okay to ask for blessings, that wanting good things for ourselves isn't selfish as long as we're trying to align ourselves with, a greater purpose.
Right, not just gimme, gimme, but use me, guide me.
Exactly. Jabez encourages us to embrace growth, but to do it responsibly and ethically. And maybe most importantly, he reminds us that we don't have to do it alone. We can ask for guidance, for protection, for a strength that's bigger than ourselves.
It makes you think, if we were each writing our own prayer of Jabez today, what would we ask for? What territory would we want to expand?
Now, that's a question worth pondering. What blessings do we truly yearn for? What areas of our lives need that enlargement? And how can we go after those goals in a way that benefits not just us, but everyone around us?
Great questions to end on. So tell us, what resonated with you most from this deep dive? What questions did this spark for you about your own life, your aspirations, even your beliefs? Hit us up in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep seeking that enlargement that Jabez was so passionate about. Thanks for joining us.